Namaste. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Welcome to Cafe Stimulate. Thanks for stopping by and having coffee with me today. So today we are going to get into talking about Kendrick Lamar's halftime Super Bowl. And I know that it's been everywhere in the media. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been breaking down all the symbolism and all the things, they were, seeing within the show. And I didn't at first, I didn't see the Super Bowl, but everybody running to the media and with what they had to say about the show got me interested in watching it. And so I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm going to sit down and watch this halftime show. And I have to say that I was blown away. I really was. And I enjoyed the message that Kendrick was trying to, convey. And I was like, this is very much needed in a time like this. And well, to me, I feel that nothing is a coincidence or nothing just happens by chance. During his show, he said that they picked the right time but the wrong guy. And no, everything is working in divine order just as it should. He was the right guy. Honestly, when I heard about the halftime show and everything, I knew they was talking about all the people who, wanted the show, one of them being Lil Wayne. And, I like me some Lil Wayne. I was like, yeah, that would have been, been a great halftime show because, I'm into some Lil Wayne, because if I don't do nothing, I'm a ball. I'm counting all day like the clock on the wall. So go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. Go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. Yes, I definitely would, would love to hear some Lil Wayne, hear Lil Weezy sing, but this was not the right time. And the Super Bowl went to exactly the right person to handle this job. And so just looking at everything and how, everything was set up. I mean, from the stadium to the football, teams that were playing, it was like, wow, this is divine. And everything matched up and was telling a story. So I'm going to go ahead and, explain from my point of view what I saw. I'm not going to explain every detail of the show because I felt like many people have done a good job in breaking that down. But by the end of this, I want to, try to bring everything into unity, into oneness when it comes to, us being spiritual beings and consciousness. Okay, so, and he had a lot to say. It was a beautiful message after, putting everything together to bring like this very high vibrational, message. I'm like, wow, he's definitely somebody to, look out for. And, I will continue, to look out for him. I enjoyed his message. So, if you focus in on the Super Bowl, it says Caesar's Superdome. Okay? Right there is a message of its own. And we know that America patterns like itself after, the Roman Empire. Caesar Roman Empire. And that speaks a lot to the future and what's about to occur and go forth. And so if you look up, I'm not going to go through all of this because this will make this a little bit longer than I would want it to, go. But go look up what was the downfall of the Roman Empire. And then go look up what was the downfall of Caesar. And if you're able to, take that message and apply it to what's going on today, it will give you, the outlook of pretty much, what's going on. The problem with the whole empire thing, because we're looking at it from a spiritual perspective, is too much testosterone. Too much men wanting power and control, and it doesn't bring balance. And when something is imbalanced, it's going to fall. It's going to self-destruct. And so where there's balance, there's flow and there's life. Where there's imbalance, there is nothing but death. There's nothing but poverty, and nothing can hold up because it's imbalanced. It's an imbalanced kingdom, especially when it's an imbalanced kingdom ran by imbalanced mind. Okay? And so the great American game is nothing more than the Caesar, the Roman Colosseum, where everybody is coming to see, people that were enslaved put in the middle of this Colosseum, that people who are made a spectacle, so they can watch them survive and see how they, they had all the kind of things happening there. They were being eaten up by animals, and these people were fighting other gladiators, and people used this as entertainment. And what the people who were in the stadium did not realize was that even though there were people in the center who were, their focus, what they didn't realize is all of them were in the stadium, and that what they were doing was using, the pain of others, like projecting, their thoughts, their pains, their fears, onto somebody else, and not realizing that we're all connected. So those people in those Roman Colosseums were ruled by, that government. They weren't happy. They was living in poverty. The people were living in poverty. They'll sit up there. They would watch, and enjoy watching people get tortured. They would get their negative energy feel off of that, and then go home to their miserable lives, where their government wasn't doing for them either. And so instead of, actually saying that this was wrong, this is what happens when the world has a lack of empathy. When there's a lack of empathy, there is no life. Where there is apathy, there is death. And we'll see this going on in the halftime show, where there was a sign behind Kendrick in lights that said, "We're going the wrong way." We're going the wrong way. The past is not an evolved way of being. It's a very, it's a very immature state of being. It's like we're going back to being like children, again. It's not, something that we should actually want to revisit. It's almost like, going back to an ex or something like that. It's like you left for a reason, right? So that you can go on and grow and evolve and see life in a new way. And this is what people don't understand about, our country. We don't want to go backwards. And people are looking at, the people in the middle of the stadium, and I'm using, Kendrick Lamar in the middle of the stadium, and they're like, oh yeah, well, here goes the blacks again, it's their issue, it's not really our issue. But you're not really understanding how all this is also affecting you. I'm talking to everybody. This affects everybody, because we're not the only one experiencing a high price in eggs. We're not the only one experiencing, the shifts and changes of the economy. This is affecting everybody. That's what happens when you're in the hands of, the rich. They don't care about people. They try to make you think they do. They don't. They only care about control and power. They don't care who all is mixed into that. The thing that they're attacking, the black community, is also an illusion. They're making you think that that's all they're attacking, but you're still feeling the effects. Okay? We're all feeling the effects. Everybody is feeling the effects. But mentally, you're like, oh, well, this is only happening because of, the black community, and they're only attacking them. No. Speaking about America, great again, America never was great. Especially, and I'm going to speak to, my sisters, my white sisters, and, my Hispanic sisters and everything, because we're all involved in this. It was never great for you. It was never great when the world was in the hands of, pedophilic men. You have to remember that white women too had to fight to vote. And they had to fight to do so many things too. They had to, evolve and come out of the situations that men put, all women in. So if anybody should stand together closer than anything, it should be us women. Because we all was in a time in a society where that wasn't, safe for us or safe for our children. You have to think about that. And, the men back in those days, even though they had control over slaves, they were beating their white wives and then, going back and sleeping with their slaves. Actually, those men wasn't even really marrying like that though in those days, because they did have slaves. You know what I'm saying? So we have to really open our minds to, like, what are we actually trying to go back to? Going backwards, just like Kendrick Lamar's sign said. It says that it's the wrong way. We're not. That's not evolving. The time where we're actually evolving is when women were able to take more responsibility. Women were able to vote, and women were able to, love who they wanted to love, and women were able. This is the time when we were sort of working together in more harmony with one another. Is where we seen growth within people, when we seen, plenty, when we are not out there really experiencing famine like other countries are. And I just seen something today with Elon Musk. He was trying to explain why a smaller government is better. And this is why it's important that we take to the media to tear down whatever they're trying to put out there with the truth. How are we going to kill this institution? We're going to kill them with the truth by exposing them for who they really are. They're talking about they want to do more, like put it back in the hands of the people. They don't want to put the government in the hands of the other people. That's a lie. They're shutting down all the agencies because they're trying to take away all the checks and balances, so that they wouldn't have to go through so many avenues and so many different things to be able to, do whatever they set out to do. For them, it's too many checks and balances. So what are we going to do? We're going to shut down all of these agencies. So when we get ready to move how we want to move, we don't want to say so other people. We don't want nobody to stop and check us. We just want to move. And that leads to tyranny, and it was interesting, like the comments I seen, they're like, yeah, we want a smaller government. And you know what I'm seeing? What's going on with that? Some of that I really do think that are rooting them on the internet. I think that's like something that's paid or something that's set up to make you think that the rest of us is going along, with that, and that's not true. There was a part where Kendrick Lamar had said that the revolution will be televised. And I found out that they were saying that came from another individual who said that the revolution would not be televised. And so he put that slight change in there. And yes, it's going to be televised this time because we are going to use, because we are more knowledgeable now, we're going to use the power of our, influence. He was like, how are we going to overcome something like this? God told me in my spirit when I started watching from the beginning of the Super Bowl, the world is watching us. And they too are in like some real bad positions where they have corrupt government and they are looking for answers. But the reason why God allowed this to happen is because by our ability to rise above what's happening and how we choose to strategically overtake what they are trying to press upon us and trying to do, the world is watching, and we are going to do it. And we will show the world how we are going to overcome in this situation. This is why this is happening. People are like, oh, this is happening because, we voted wrong and we did this. No, this is on purpose because we are the ones that's going to set everything off to create this shift in the atmosphere. Okay? We are the ones that's going to create this thing that Kendrick Lamar did was like a shot that rang out around the world. Yes, it's going to be televised. And yes, there is a revolution. And then yes, we are going to fight this time. We will not go quietly into the night. Okay? And we're going to teach people how energy, frequency, and vibration works, and how us being high vibrational beings are going to take this situation and it's going to turn out for our good. Because if God be for us, what can stand against? So the only way we're going to be able to do this if we turn everything and use everything as a tool. And that we don't allow ourselves to listen to what they have to say and put us into a lower vibration. Because that's how they can, get us, by making us feel like we're counted out, that there's nothing that we can do, put us in a state of fear. So then they can use our energy and harvest our energy and overtake us. But that will not happen this time because we are more evolved. And I know there's a lot of people walking around, oh, there they go with that woke shit. You know what? Those be the same people, you know, putting out all that fear mongering. This is what they're doing to us. You know, if you don't have anything to say that's going to help the situation, then go sit down. Go sit down. You know, that's that Jimbo stuff that they would be talking about, you know, that Uncle Tom stuff they be talking about. And, you know, always bringing, you know, the fear, nothing that ever is going to contribute to the situation. Just adding a lot of static, a lot of noise. And so we're going to, let me go on. But we're in this Caesar Arena, this Coliseum, and you know, the dome for you flat earthers out there. We're all in this dome, okay? And this is not a new game. This is an old game. Remember I said that this is the realm of the subconscious mind, okay? This is something that's been sitting, you know, that's been, you know, cooking in the back of the subconscious mind, and now it keeps on reoccurring. But how are we going to stop this from reoccurring? By implementing new ideas, by coming forth in another way. People going to think, oh, well, we need to go out there and protest. No, that's what they want you to do. We will not go out there, you know, and protest, because they're waiting for you to actually get out there physically so that they can claim that, you know, we're being violent and things, and make it a reason to you know, physically attack us, or bring a reason to bring the military out upon us, so then they can, you know, give themselves permission to have military walking around in our streets trying to, you know, watch over us and guard us and keep us from doing things. You have to understand, we have to take this higher, and that them old ways, them old tactics will not work anymore. So what did Kendrick Lamar say? He said you can't fake influence. Why? That we're thinking about energy, frequency, and vibration. And the impact that his Super Bowl made was a great one. That in the power of that influence and to enlighten people. I saw that in the halftime show. There was a part where there was a man sitting up on a light, and what I seen, you know, from that man laying down on the light post, he looked like he was stargazing, you know, and he was on a light post. So it made me think of, you know, that enlightenment, because if you go down, you know, it was like a bunch of people that were singing and harmonizing in harmony. And then Samuel L. Jackson had came in and said, oh yeah, you know, the community and togetherness, the harmony cheat code, deduct one life, because what they want to do is break us from harmonizing. And that means people of all races and all colors. Remember, they let go of the Mexicans, you know, so this is against everybody, okay? So you think you're not involved? Yes, this whole thing is against, you know, they're calling ICE on people and everything. We all need to come together. This just ain't no black thing, okay? This is a everybody thing. And when it comes to the spirit and spiritual people and God's people, it's not a color. It's a state of being. You know, it's who walks by the spirit. And when we see other people being hurt, we have that empathy within us to sympathize, you know, with others, and be able to stand up for what's right and say that doesn't sit right within me. This should not be happening. We want to be a free nation in a free state. That we're talking about America of the free, but at the same time trying to enslave people. Look how divided that sounds. It's not truthful. They're not telling the truth. Okay? And he says to duck one life, and that's how they, fight back and influence our community, by using somebody as an example and killing somebody, and all of a sudden we're supposed to cower or become small. No, when stuff like that happens, we're supposed to grow and become greater, and let them know that that old tactic does not work anymore either. Because if you look, the camera spans off into this big X. It was a big red X, and that Kendrick, they was dancing in, and what I saw was that big red X was like, the martyrs, the people that were killed, the saints and stuff that were killed. This is my perspective from standing up for what they believed. Okay? And so, and it's about their bravery. In the Bible, it says that there is no greater there is no greater love than to die for a friend. And so the way I see that is, there are a lot of people who, died for this nation, for people to be able to live free, for people to be able to have the privileges and things that now this government is trying to strip and take away from people, because they want power and control, so they can want Neuralink people. And another thing is too, what I keep seeing, because of all this, masculinity and testosterone and this imbalance, and Kendrick Lamar's, people was like, oh, this is about Drake and this. Yeah, there were some parts that were about Drake or whatever, but I actually see it as bigger than that. I see it that every time that the government or any kind of leadership is under, a lot of male dominance, I see pedophilia. Pedophilia is always the underlining of it, meaning that America was built off of slavery. And what you don't understand is slavery is still exists more than ever, but it's with children. Okay? And so this is what actually all this is about, keeping this form of slavery going. Now, they are having adults in slavery. They're doing that in a way of making them work and put their money out to the government, while the government does less for the people, trying to keep them paid, and then, while they take from, the Americans' pockets. That's that kind of slavery that they're putting the people in. But there's another underlining, deeper slavery that's going on, because America has become like a hub. What they're trying to do is make it a hub. One thing I do know about Elon Musk was, like, a couple of years ago, he was talking about wanting to put a subway system in LA. He wanted to put a subway system there. He talked about that. And there's no coincidence that that area of LA burned down. So, right around this time, so that he can have his use, to create a subway. And you're like, oh, well, a subway system, they might be great. No, do what Hollywood has always been doing. There's a subway. Yes, that's the illusion that it's going to help people get around. But under the subway, there was the tunnels where they moved the children, to these celebrities' houses and things like that. And this is how, because, the enslavement of children is like $1 billion industry. That's what they're interested in. And that's what they want to keep going. Just sending children from all that Epstein stuff that's going on. That's what America's been built off of, pedophilia. And that's what Kendrick Lamar was putting out. You hit a chord, but it's probably A minor. Okay, and I was like, oh, that's a dash at Drake. Yeah, well, yeah, that song was initially put out to him, but what he represents is a celebrity that takes advantage of young children. Okay, well, allegedly, and nobody wants to get in trouble for this. Okay, so that's the thing with the higher ups too. They take advantage of people for their use, and they sell them, and yeah, nothing but every time you see a bunch of men get together for some control, what else is going to be about? Money and sex. It all boils down to that and nothing more. It all boils down to that. And when people get a lot of money, they get awkward, different kinds of kinks, and it's never, it just gets kinkier and kinkier. The whole thing that happened with P. Diddy. What happened with P. Diddy. It gets weird. It gets gross. And people don't want grown women. They want things that they control. They want, children and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm just talking about, yes, at the Super Bowl, yeah, there was some Drake things in there, but it really wasn't more about him. It was about America as a whole, okay? And how it's going to take us to come together and come out of that split mindset that is us, that's where you're like, not like us. You know what I'm saying? And what we're saying, not like us, is they're not enlightened beings. They are very, very low vibrational beings, and they understand this about us. They understand that people awaken. Elon Musk said he's against the woke agenda or whatever. And what's so interesting, what they made the woke agenda to be was about homosexuality or something. I'm like, I don't know how that got into being into the woke agenda or whatever, but they did a number to try to, infiltrate it, with some stuff that ain't have nothing to do with, actually being awakened. Okay, they tried to make it a thing that you make fun of and things like that. Why? Because they know it's a very powerful thing, but they don't want people to embrace it because they want you to stay asleep to it. And people roll their eyes to it, but now that there's things happening, they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Okay, well, the things that we are to do is what Kendrick Lamar was doing, was bringing everything into, into the forefront, bringing the truth out about everything. We are to be flooding the social media, everything they putting out, everything that they're doing. We need to be flooding it with the truth. Anytime Elon Musk come out and say some bull crap, yeah, we need a smaller government, and then you got people high-fiving them in the bottom. No, you educate people on what that actually does and mean, so that you can awaken people to the BS. Okay, use your ability and your influence to awaken people in that way. And not put us in a fight against each other, because we're all in this together. People don't understand that evil never stops. Evil will not stop until it destroys itself. And I can't believe, like, some people's way of thinking. Well, if they just enslaved the blacks, then it's just them. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Of course it does. Because just think about it. If that's done away with, then evil never stops. Who are they going to bully next? Then they go on, to the women. Let's enslave them. Let's suppress them. What's next? And it's interesting to me that people don't see people just don't see like how it just keeps going in a downward spiral. Well, white people will never turn on white people. Hello, the Holocaust, okay? Or one kind wouldn't turn on their own kind. Look at places, and I say this, like, not South Korea, North Korea, okay? People be getting it confused. I've been to South Korea and I loved it and had a very amazing time. But places like North Korea, they don't have no color issues. And yes, they're still, against their own people. You have in India, they do it there. Still, they have a caste system. They're no color. They're against their own people. Because that's what evil does. Because it's more about the elites. How can I make somebody feel like they're underneath me? When you're not dealing with color issues, then you're dealing with class issues. You know how much money you got. And then you're like, well, I'm white and I'm on top. No. Once there's nobody else to come for and annihilate, they're going to come for you. Now you're the broke white trash of the system that we got to annihilate and get rid of and torture. That's what I'm saying. This thing about evil, and I know I started out talking about the dome and the Caesar thing, but also in the beginning, it had that apple, which the apple was a bitten fruit from the Adam and Eve thing or whatever. And I looked it up. I think it's called in Latin, how you say apple? Is an apple in a Latin in Latin. Let me get it. Meaning of apple in Latin. Okay, it's called malum. Okay, almost sounds like melon, but apple in Latin is malum. And if you say it with a long A, it means apple. But if you say it with a short A, and it's all spelled the same, M-A-L-U-M, you can look it up yourself to give y'all the information, it means evil. So that's why people, when it came to the fruit, they made it an apple because also malum also means evil. Okay, and so it was and we know that apples, you're like, are apples evil? No, apples are very healthy. Okay, and it used to be before they started genetically like messing with the fruit and things like that, the seeds of the apples were able to cure cancer. They had nutritional abilities and healing capabilities, but they wanted to genetically engineer our fruit so much so that they are deprived from the actual nutrients that we need to actually heal. All that is a tactic, and we're like, oh, this battle is just about them. No, sweetie, it's about you too. You buying them jacked up apples too. You buying them jacked up fruits. You're buying all them. Like, we're in this together. Okay, so we need to let go of the illusion that it's just a them thing. No, it's you too. It's your children too. It's all of us that we have to come together. And so that apple represents, it was bitten, and meaning the knowledge. The apple was meaning the knowledge of evil. And it said good and evil, because the apple nutritionally is good, but it was talking about also too, about the meaning of it being evil. So it was hosted by Apple Music, and so and then it goes into this tunnel where it enters into the Super Bowl, the casting down, after eating the apple unto the plane, to the physical plane. Okay, and so we are supposed to be here to make enlightened decisions that's going to move us further, into, it's going to move us into a higher state of being. But there's always going to be something that's going to jump in our way, that's going to try to pull us back from going to, evolving into where we were trying to go, where there is more peace, where there is plenty. When we allow ourselves to get pulled back, it's like we devolving. You're not evolving. we're getting pulled back. They're jumping in the way because they, like anybody, especially Elon, he understands the power of frequency. There's a reason why Trump is jumping in and he's making all these mandates and all these things and doing it all quick and stuff. And it seems like every day he's trying to surprise y'all with some bullish that he's doing new every day. Every day. You have to do it every day. Why? Because he's trying to put you in a state of fear. He's trying to mess with your mental state. He's trying to mess with your frequency, your vibration. So if he was able to lower it, then they're able to use you energetically, emotionally. But we're not going to do that because we're not our ancestors. And just like Samuel L. Jackson says, do you know how to play the game? Yes, we do now. We know how to undo the game now. And he told them to tighten up. And in every era, their main thing that they used forever was to divide and conquer. So if they're stressing this divide in order for us to conquer is by coming together. We have to come together. We have to work with one another. We have to strategize together. And a lot of this, people think it's a lot of us having to, a lot of us having to go out and protest and things like that or whatever, interesting enough, everything has been put on the internet. We can come together in groups from everywhere and bring information together, and we can petition things and get petition things signed, and sent up, and we send the foot person in, and tell them to push everything, into the places where it needs to go. I don't know a lot about politics, so I don't know how all certain things go. Okay, but I know that we can have elect certain forerunners, as long as the people are willing to back, those forerunners. Okay. And so, yes, so we are here in this great arena. And what made me think about also this arena and the gladiators, if you ever seen the movie Gladiator, that is one of my favorite movies. I'm Maximus Decimus Meridius. Yeah, I love that movie. It was all kinds of people in the middle of that stadium that they took as slaves and that were fighting. Okay? But what did they decide to do? Instead of fighting separately, they decided to come together. And they came together to defy a king. They turned all the people that were watching, against the king. There was a time, I think, in the movie where they actually booed Caesar. And interesting enough, I think in that Super Bowl, they were saying that Trump got booed, but they were trying to keep it on the low. There were people calling them traitors and all kinds of things. But he left like after that halftime or whatever. But yes, everything was in the favor of the gladiators because they came together to fight. They was in like this enslavement situation, but they won the hearts of the people by becoming champions. And that's what I liked about Serena. Everybody was like, oh, well, because it was Drake's ex and that's why she danced. Absolutely not. Her whole being like spoke in that moment. It was like that was her chosen dance of triumph, because Serena represents the champion of the arenas. She had to go and just think about her and Venus, being in almost a white dominated sport, but rose up through all the adversity that they had to go through to become the champions of who they are. And like I said, I didn't want to make it, because this is a spirit. I don't want to make it white and black and things, because we need each other, okay? But I have to tell you also the truth of what happened, okay? It's kind of hard to tell a story if you don't, tell the truth about what's actually happening here on this earth, right? And the story, and I watched the story of Venus and Serena with Will Smith in it. I loved it, of a father that stood up for them and backed them and pushed them in amazing ways, and they triumph. That's just like our Father God, backing us up. But we also have to put in the work and put in the action. That those championships were not put on the laps of Venus and Serena. They had to work their asses off, okay? They had to get in the game. They had to learn the strategies. There was times when they were, treated unfairly. And when they was playing against, games where they weren't, doing things right. Same thing in the movie Gladiator. They was trying to do things unfairly, to them, giving them unfair advantage, making them fight with chains on. Like, how you supposed to fight like this? Same thing. But she became a warrior. Both of them did. And they were triumphant in a game that was not created, to go in their favor. But look at God. Look at God. That's the same thing. That's what she represented to me, being doing her dance of victory. She represents a champion, in which you all are. We will triumph over what is going on, but we have to understand how the game is played, and we also need to understand that we are wiser. We are more intelligent now, and that we need to use everything. We need to use everything as tools, that are provided, that are before us, so that we can play this game. Even when they're playing unfairly, we will still conquer. We will still triumph. So what I saw on Kendrick Lamar's show was it looked like it was a street. Some people said it was a prison or something like that or whatever. But it looked like a street, because it reminded me of, when you go in the hood and they got those cameras on the light post and everything, but they had, men on them. So it reminded me of Big Brother watching. Okay. And they're always trying to surveillance, a certain type of, meaning we're under surveillance, and, always watching. And that's fine. They can watch, but they're going to watch us, do this. The world is watching, and they're going to, take notes on what we're doing, so they can learn how to overcome, their government, in this way. What else did I also spotted out in this halftime show? When he was starting out, he was on this block. He was actually on the car, but in the background it said it starts here, where there was a arrow pointing down, and this was in the background in lights. It starts here. It all starts with us. Each one of you are very important to pushing, our agenda forward, to bring everything into oneness, into everything into union. Okay? This is about energy, frequency, and vibration. If the evil people can tank the frequency over in their favor, so that everybody is in a low vibration, that's imprisonment. They got us, and it's hard to get out of. But if we raise the frequency, if we raise the vibration and the energy, they can no longer touch us, because we're free. Okay? Because there's strength. And then not only that, That's how we take them into a whole nother arena. Right now, they got us playing in their arena. Caesar's Super Bowl arena. And there was a fight against the indigenous and the eagles. You know, the eagles is also a Roman sign that the Americans took on. And everybody's like, yeah, but the eagles won over the indigenous, the chiefs. They did, didn't they? That's the truth. That's what happens. Did they win? Yes, they won. But look what happens when you go back to Philadelphia, which Philadelphia is also a Greek for Philios. I remember, but it stands for brotherly love in Greek. You can look it up yourself. Philios, or something like that. Remember, that's also Greek. And what happened after they won? The people tore down the city. The city was torn down by the people. The banks, the businesses and everything, they were destroyed. So what does that mean? It was destroyed. The eagles were, in their city, were destroyed by their own people, meaning it's an inside. It's going to be an inside job. Okay? And if you look at Caesar, how Caesar went down, Caesar was destroyed by his own. And as you're looking right now, it was something with Elon Musk and his son. He was just now asking Trump, well, why are you in that seat? And, my dad should be like, kids be listening to grown folks. Okay. He just didn't get this little idea up on his own. So basically Elon is using Trump as a puppet until he gets what he wants out of him. And then, they'll do something with him. And also too, there was a plane that crashed in DC like a couple of weeks ago. That plane was an American Eagle. The title, the brand of the plane was an American Eagle. Crashed in DC because it collided with a Black Hawk. In spirituality, a Black Hawk symbolizes power, protection, freedom, and often acts as a messenger between the physical and spiritual realms. It's often seen as a sign of strength, clear vision, and the ability to see the bigger picture in life. Its dark color representing mystery and deep intuition. In Native American culture, the Black Hawk is a guardian spirit, signifying protection and guidance. The hawk's keen eyesight represents the ability to see beyond the surface, perceive hidden truths, and make informed decisions. The hawk is also associated with courage, leadership qualities, and the ability to overcome challenges. In some spiritual traditions, seeing a black hawk can be interpreted as a sign of you are receiving a message from the spirit world. So that is the meaning of the Black Hawk. Interesting. If you want to call it a coincidence and all those things, I think not. I believe in the Matrix. Everything has meanings. When you are awakened to the Matrix and what's going on and the pour down of the information, you'll begin to see it, that everything is speaking if you're awakened to it. And so what else? There's almost, yeah. So when I'm trying to think about all the things that were highlighted to me about, because I didn't want to go through everything, because like I said, everybody did a good job. If you go listen in on what they saw about, the Super Bowl, and he was in that excellent. He was like peekaboo. Peekaboo. Yeah, it's like we're playing this game of peekaboo, more like infiltration. I said long time ago that spirit, the way spirit moves is through things, and how we are going to operate by taking all this down and over is through things. We're going to use the tools that are available, and he said you can't fake influence, and they're going to use it. That's why he has X, Twitter or whatever. Stop using Twitter. Stop involving ourselves. We got to stop as people, involving ourselves in things that are not cycling, money back into our communities. And I'm not saying just the black community. I'm talking about we're together in this, all of us. Okay? You want to go out there and wear all the brands and all that sends money back out over there overseas and things like that or whatever. Well, there are other clothes brands and things like that in America that we should support, even smaller. Okay? And you want to go out there and buy Teslas and things like that or whatever. If he's not for you, then why are you pouring money in his brand? That's fluent. That's when I'm talking about influence, and money is currency. There's a reason why they call money currency, and they call the banks. All those are like water and flow. Oh, what else? Super Bowl LIX. I looked that up, and it said pond and water. So the Super Bowl. It says that in Roman numeral numbers, LIX, and you look up the meaning. You can do it yourself. And I said before, when I was like, I keep seeing a thing about Trump and water. It's about us becoming like water and being adaptable and able to, in our ability to flow and to move energy, and this is how this is going to happen. Okay? And then it had the number 59. 59. Here we go. Okay, Super Bowl and Roman numeral 59. And from an angel number 59, it says it urges you to exercise your personal freedom in doing that which is good, and for you and your loved ones to achieve peace and joy. That's what 59 means. That's in the angel number 59. Now, if you break 59 up to 5 and 9, we'll get an even deeper message. So let's start with number 5. Number 5 is associated with the planet Mercury. It can represent balance, positive energy, and the desire for change. See? People with the number 5 are known to be independent. And so this whole thing, breaking away with the government and stuff like that, independence, and they're known for finding new solutions to problems. Are we not in search of new solutions to problems? Okay. They are adaptable, remember, water, and can make quick decisions under pressure. They are naturally curious and enjoy learning new things, which we are now, because we're in the age of Aquarius, water, learning new things. An old situation has come up where people want to take you back in this old neo-Nazi thing that they wanted, and it never worked for them. What was the downfall of that Nazi kingdom? Go look it up. It failed. So what makes you think it's going to work now? It was bad for even them. Okay? They are okay. Let me go on. Social. They are good communicators. One thing about I looked up about Kendrick Lamar. He had a business. I think on the back of his jacket, it had his business logo. And talking about his jacket, I thought his jacket to me looked like a varsity jacket. And you know how I said long time, like I was saying that, in this world, you'll meet a lot of people on a lot of different frequencies. Everybody, people from babies, people on the elementary level, people, on high school to college level. So his jacket reminded me of a varsity, jacket. That his level of awareness is on. It's turned all the way on. And I also peeped a little angel wing on his hat. So I thought that was also interesting. I picked up he said that in one of his songs that he was a Gemini powering up. And that so and I was just he's flown under the radar for a while, but now that he's putting all his music in this combination, you're just like, wow, it's a very enlightened message. Okay, back to the number 5, okay, because I'm getting off. It says that they are courageous. This time is causing us to be very courageous and bold. He also heard him say that he was incarnated. So let me tell you something. For the enlightened beings out there who understand that they are eternal, those type of people are the ones who truly live. And they can live their life fully because they don't live their lives in fear of death. Because they know, they understand their infinite nature of who they are. And so other people live their lives in fear. They never stand up for anything because they feel like they only exist once. So let me be very careful with this life and not stand up for anything and be scared of everything and let people run over them and do, they never gain those type of balls. But it's interesting that there are people who became warriors, chose to be warriors in their life, and put their life, on the line for different various situations. Dr. Martin Luther King said himself, he was just like, I have a vision, but I may not make it over there with you. It was an inner knowing, I might, be taken out in this, just like Malcolm X. It's an inner knowing, but it's about doing what that needs to be done. Your life is in God's hands. And he wants us to push forward, through and bring us out through the other side. Okay? So we have to get into our courageous warrior mode. And just like I said about, he's like, the revolution will be televised. Y'all picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Yes, because he's willing to stand and tell, a message. And even in him, he has what was his, I believe his company is like a communications. It says in his thing, I read it. It was like a communications something company, and that's what's in Gemini's too. That they're very intelligent and are very good communicators. And they come with a message. So I think that was it for number 5 that I wanted to convey. Then I need to go down to number 9, which number 9 represents the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. Yes, right now is actually the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. But look where the low frequencies are trying to pull us back into cycles that we've closed. all that Nazi, all that bullshit or whatever, we're done away with that. How are we here now? Because they don't want you to move forward. They don't want everybody to evolve. They don't want them to move in a place of unity and oneness. They want to draw us back. And if you see how they're moving, it's like it only leads to evil, only leads to the selfish getting whatever they want to gain and everybody else being left out. And then everything is impoverished. There's lack of food. Why? Because when you're in a low energy of apathy, that's the spiral down. That's when another thing is all these diseases. Why are there all these diseases? Why? Because the truth is being suppressed. A real doctor cannot even come out and express what they understand, what they research, and what they know. Every doctor that has come forth with a cure for cancer, they have cast them down and took away their license. They ain't really trying. When the truth is suppressed, is that what we really want? That affects everybody. I don't care what color you are. They're all people, all types dealing with cancer. And this government, they don't want you to have the truth. They actually have things that can actually cure, and it's not as hard as they want you to believe. They want to make you believe that you got to go through all these chemotherapies and things like that or whatever. It has to be this way. We are way more evolved than that. We're intelligent. That's why they killed our Dr. Sebi. They don't want you going to him and being healed by natural things and fruits and coming back well. They don't want that. So that's what happens when you're in the world and you choose to live on low frequencies. The truth is suppressed. They want the world to be infested by diseases, and only the rich can access the cures. They want everything, and this is very very acidine. Well, rich people, once you kill off all the people who are not wealthy, who y'all have to step on? Who y'all have to if you just kill over everybody, what will y'all have? Because they feed off of negativity. They feed off of people, hoping people are jealous of them and want what they got. And I hear it in rap music and songs all the time. You want to be like me, and you want to. No, we don't. Didn't you just say you was on the brink of suicide? Like, how can you have all that money and still be on the brink of suicide? Nobody wants to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest and tell the truth about it. What possibly could be going so wrong in your life that you is on the brink of, losing it all, but you have everything? Why? Because we understand now that having money is not everything. It's not the answer if you're mentally not well, if your spirit is not settled. There's a saying, there's no rest for the wicked. When you got wickedness and evil going on in your heart, people with all their money can't find rest. And that's what's going to happen to the Trump and Elon or whatever, because they will face God. They will face God, and with all the technology and all the stuff in the world would not be able to save them. They're going to get a hold to some stuff that money cannot save them from. They will face something, just like in the Bible, Pharaoh, all them plagues came, upon them. Their money and riches couldn't stop them when their health is failing. When you can't sleep at night, when there's no peace in your heart, not no money in the world. But, and that's why, once again, no rest for the wicked. Wicked does not rest. They can't rest. It's always something going on. You know what? It's always something that keeps them going. Because rich people, they can never be satisfied with just being. And they actually are jealous at other people who don't have as much, but still can find, solitude, in living life and being happy and just going on about their day. They try to make it seem like it's all that glamorous, but it always shows itself that they're not. Okay? Look at Melania. Melania does not look happy. And every time she smiles, just like a fake smile, I have not seen a spark of joy come out of that woman. And so that should say a lot of things to all women, and being led, and she's been, with this man. She doesn't even want to live in the White House with him. And somebody said, she said it was spooky. Okay? That shows you he can't even bring joy to his own wife. So that's a miserable way of being. They say a mark of a man, you look at his wife's face and how beautiful and radiant she is. You can tell if she being treated right, she being loved right. You can see it all over her. And I don't see it over Melania. I don't. That lets y'all know, you sitting back and you're like, oh, the war is just over there with them. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Has something to do with everybody. We all have to come together on this one and put our differences aside. Those differences are just an illusion that they put before us to keep us separated. But if we move those barriers and come together, we can make things move together. And that's what, that whole Super Bowl thing was about, coming together. He even had the part with him and SZA. If you look where SZA was standing, because it was like, they were saying that it was a game controller. Yes, it was a PlayStation game controller. But that button, that triangle button, was upside down. And so that upside down triangle stands for the feminine. And I liked his little Super Bowl because he kept consulting with, the feminine. That's a man who is balanced in his masculine and his feminine energy. And there was a little ballad that they sang, "If This World Was Mine," and him, tending, to that, that feminine energy side of himself, because that's the only way we're going to win this, if we come into a balance with each other, the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang. That is what's going to get us to win if we all come together. Put the race aside. This is about harmony. Everybody wants harmony. Everybody wants to walk out of their house, and feel a sense of safety and not feel like some police are after them and things like that. Everybody does. You believe it or not, you do. That's why people get money and they move to certain neighborhoods. They want to feel safe. They don't want to feel bothered or whatever. But why do we have to just make some neighborhoods safe? Why don't we just become smart and intelligent beings and we can make the world safe? Why? We just stop, dealing with people who have asshole mindsets. Who have you see how Trump walks around with his face all turned up? You know why he does that? Because that's the energy he has to be in to just do a lot of fucked up stuff. He has to show that he has no empathy. And that's the kind of energy that he has to be in to keep doing what he's doing, because he refused to be imbalanced. And then that's why everybody around him be looking angry. I don't never see nobody smiling, laughing, cackling, or nothing. Then there's no joy there. And if he doesn't possess joy, he's not going to be able to bring that to the future of mankind or anything. But he doesn't intend to, or whatever. So, that's what I had to say. That was a lot. I don't think I have anything else that I wanted to bring about, because I didn't say a lot about the Super Bowl, but like I said, everybody did a good job of bringing a lot of things to light. Oh, the beginning was a downloading I seen in the back. It was downloading all this stuff, and you all you tuning in, to above, getting your downloads. God will give us the information that we need on how to strategically maneuver through this time. During this time, I suggest everyone to start to look within themselves and find out the things that will give them peace and balance, what will bring your energy up, because that's what's going to, help. And use your power of influence. If you can put up one of them little jokey joke memes every day that absolutely mean nothing, you can absolutely post something that is going to lift the vibration, or bring more information that can stop this infiltration. The infiltration, of the infiltration of the information that they're trying to fill us with, that everything that they're doing is fine and okay when it's not. So we need to put out the information and do what we can on each of our ends to, create these communities, and then take action out here in the world. And we will do more than survive this. We will overcome this. So I hope, you got something out of the message. I hope that, that this message can bring unity towards all spiritual beings. Remember, we are more than, these physical bodies. We are more than just, the skin color that we're in. If you truly are a being of light, we hold empathy, and we can sympathize with each other. And when we see wrong, we work together as a whole to take it down. If we see our brother in need, and if they're getting picked on, we don't sit back and be like, oh, well, that's them. Well, that's them right now. But what happens when it's not them anymore? And then the tables get turned, because evil is evil. Don't think that evil won't ever turn on you. You see it happen all the time in all kinds of situations where people came together for an evil situation. And then when things got rough, they start turning on each other. Yeah. So, well, Ashe, I hope you enjoyed our coffee time today. Here, we always keep it brewing. I hope I was able to make your day. Until next time, you'll find me here at Cafe Stimulate. And remember, the divine in me honors the divine in you. Thanks for stopping in. If you would like to contact me, email me at cafestimulate@outlook.com. Thanks again. Bye.